So,
Yeah.
in our effort to put off as many people that watch this channel as possible, we're gonna get political here. Is that what we're doing?
Political. I mean, I guess that could be your second channel.
Oh no!
I don't want to be.
Oh god!
Maybe I'll be a guest on it.
Maybe even more rage comments than we get here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we found out last week that Acrylicos
Vallejo.
That's why you do better than I do. The workers have gone on strike for a number of reasons. I believe they had three major concerns. One was like pay, obviously. Mm-hmm. Two was like working conditions. Like the factory allegedly is literally crumbling around them. Mm-hmm. It's like safety concerns and anyone who has ever used any tool ever could be like, do you want to use a crappy one or a good one, right?
Yeah,
like it's
sure.
like so. Mm-hmm. And then number three is one that kind of really put me off the most was the harassment policy that they want protection from harassment, sort of like a policy in place. Mm-hmm. So why are we talking about this on our tiny YouTube channel? Well, I mean, I think it's the right thing to do personally, like just amplifying the message of those people. Like we make money off of them, right? Like we sell their products. We like their products that the workers make. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it would be kind of not great to just kind of ignore the thing that's going on.
What about my primer, Chris?
Yeah, I mean,
don't have cans of black primer.
True.
I'm so mad right now.
Well, luckily other companies make it.
Screw the workers.
Hey man, if you're siding with the management over the fact that you can't get the cheapest primer on the market or whatever,
it's not really anymore.
It's not anymore, but like it's a very affordable primer. I don't know what to tell you. You're probably I don't know. You have a pretty good life, I guess, if that's your biggest problem.
Yeah. So we kind of like the greater discussion today. Well, first is solidarity for the workers. Hopefully they get the deal they want and get back to work, enjoy making the hobby products that we love. The other real greater kind of thing is because this comes up all the time is the kind of the fragility of the hobby supply chain.
Yeah.
And there's always like a shortage of something. The pandemic had primer and glue and other things. Sometimes it's there's a lot of GW things that people like. It's like a daily thing. They're like, I can't get this box of something. It's been out. It's been gone for a year or 6 months, or I can't. No one, no store has this, or someone calls and like, you're the 18th store, which I always love. I'm so flattered. I'm the 18th store.
Oh man, I feel so good knowing I'm number 18 in your book, man.
Yeah,
it's so good.
And I have to tell them again and again. I'm like, there's only.
The funny thing too is like I don't know why I do this. Like it's just part of me. Like I like educating people.
Them,
because like I want that person.
Like, yeah.
They're trying to get me off the phone, and I'm like, man, listen to me for a second. I'm trying to explain that like the reason why they can't get it and why maybe calling 18 more stores might waste their time.
It's a waste of time. Yeah.
But no, what do I know?
Yeah. So and again, what we're getting to is pretty much all these things usually come from a single place. So your Warhammer minis only come from Nottingham. Like they are all made there. So if there are especially if the web store is sold out of something, if there's like no, because you imagine a lot of people are gonna they've got their favorite like bulk discounters or whatever, they're gonna go and those places sell it first, and then if you get to the Games Workshop site and it's sold out, there's probably no shot you're finding that box of Blade Guard vets or something, or at a certain time. Recently it was all starter boxes. And then on the hobby front, right now it's there's a run on Black Primer, which we believe is related to all the new people jumping into 40K. Like that's all I can think of. Like why?
I mean, that's gonna piss off people that didn't like our last video about are people leaving 40K. It's like, that's why Primer's sold out or whatever.
Yeah.
You can't get any Primer.
And it probably is also why. Why some of these hobby supplies go up in price. That's probably a factor. I'm sure a little bit of it is squeezing a little bit more bucks out of it, but I've seen it with like Corvus Belly is a good example because they're a game that's still primarily in pewter, and all of their costs have gone up. Like the average, a box that was, reliably I would put on the shelf for $38-$39 is probably pushing 50 now, and it's various ingredients in their process. So just I think it's tin and some other materials that's in the blend that they make have gone up in value, and they're just, they have to eat it. There's like no other source. I think another one is the green stuff, the Nitinite stuff we use is like, it's like one company has the monopoly on that, or they make it. They're the only ones who make it. Like maybe there's no big enough market for multiple factories, but like if they have an ingredient they don't have, they just can't make it. So then there's a delay, and then the other delay is always like something shipping related, which we also saw a lot of at the pandemic, or if there's a strike and a container can't be unloaded, and that's why you're not getting some sort of paint or material or whatever. So it's tough. I know in the hobby world we have a project in mind and we want to get the thing now, but yeah, it doesn't take much. It really doesn't to crumble.
Well, think about like going back to the Vallejo situation again, right? Like, think about how many shops across the world, I think something like 70 countries or something like that, order in Vallejo products, right?
Yeah.
Think about how many stores across those countries have products on their shelf, right? Yeah. Now and think about
Vallejo's probably got racks in more
this
stores
one little factory in Spain with 78 employees or whatever they have.
Yeah.
Make all that stuff, right? So think about how fragile that is, right? Like,
if they don't have a certain pigment, they just can't make yellow or something. That's it. They're just like. So I've seen. Yeah, I remember there was a big run on. Every year there's something. It was ice yellow because like all these like high-end painters were like raving about the color, which it is a useful color. And I remember just being like, every guy would come in for like a week and be like, I need ice yellow.
Yeah, you can really tell when
I had
content
5 jars
creators
and they sold out in a day or whatever. And some people would buy multiple jars. You're like, you know how long it takes to go through a jar.
You're mixing a little bit of ice yellow into your paints. You're not like, like, what are you doing? It's not your base coat. Like, holy cow, man.
or then we had and continues to have the my favorite one is the Tamiya Extra Thin. For the sprue goo.
The sprue goo, yeah.
Oh God, please do me a favor. Don't make sprue goo, please.
Well, that's controversial.
I know. You could fill your models other ways. It does not need to be that way. And there's my other mistake. I try to explain. This happens all the time. They're like, "Do you have the thin?" I'm like, "Does it have to be thin? Like extra thin?" I'm like, "I have regular." It's which is also almost like water. And they're like, "No. I saw the video." And I was like, "No." I'm like, "Do you plan on using the entire jar in the next day or two?" And they're like, "What do you mean?"
What do you mean? Yeah,
I'm like, when you put sprues in it, the reaction starts, and then that's it. You're going to make a sludge, and then the sludge is going to harden, and then
it gets harder and harder as it goes. Yeah. No.
So
use it all up.
I don't know. Yeah. So do we have anything else to
Well, so I think with the strike, I think obviously you're going to see this big delay, right? Like, so I think with Vallejo, like, I don't know if this is a management thing, a logistics thing, or it's just a reflection of the poor working conditions that they've already had to be working in, where like they're not putting out stuff fast enough. It's already like pretty tough to stock Vallejo, like pretty fully. Like I always find like there's lots of holes. Yeah. Like in the line, like our paint racks never really have all the colors on them. We're always out of like one type of primer or another, whether it's like airbrush primer or aerosol primer. And I don't know. That's just the problem with like we're so near the end of the process, and there's like all these steps in between us, like distribution, and then there's like manufacturing, like whatever goes on there. That it's hard to know who's messing up there.
Yeah.
Is it distribution not ordering enough stuff? Or is it Vallejo not being able to fulfill those orders enough, right, or quickly enough, right?
Yeah. I feel like the distributors could always use more, and they probably request a lot, and they just get what they get, I assume. But
well, I did notice one of our sort of local distributors that we've been ordering our Vallejo stuff through for 10 years. They're great people. They actually they operate out of British Columbia, and they actually got a chance. The guys that we were working with bought the company from the owner who retired, which is really cool. I like worker-owned businesses. They somewhat recently, I think, figured that out and like have been doing much bigger stocks of things. Like, you know, I noticed when they get restocked on like Vallejo airbrush black primer, they have like 1,000 jars instead of like, it used to have like maybe 400 or whatever.
Yeah.
So like that's gotten a bit better. Now that doesn't matter if you reorder when you get down to 50.
Yeah.
But if you're reordering at like 500, then
Right.
you're always turning over and you always have some.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way you want to be, right? Like even on our end, we don't want to, we don't wait till we're out of a paint color to reorder it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You wait till it's halfway or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. And then look too, if you're looking to get stuff right now, just like, yeah, you kind of have to. This is kind of a. We've talked about hobby FOMO and product release FOMO. You know, a lot of it is also generated. I know it's cynical to say like, oh no, they just purposely made not very many. Sometimes it's the case. You know, when it comes to like highly sought after old world releases, they just didn't make a lot. But you know, it's just like once it's, you know, whatever it is, even if they made a lot, once it's out, the turnaround time is always long. Like you just can't get, I don't know. Everyone has their pressing need, and they're like, stop the presses, make more of this kit that I need for this tournament or something. And you know, in GW, I kind of sometimes they have a point because they'll be like, well, look, you guys weren't buying this for like years, you know, like. And you know, people will argue that, oh well, the rules were rubbish, and you're like, well, that's not, shouldn't be the only reason you buy the miniature. Like, so it's tough. I kind of have had to adjust my expectations a long time ago and just kind of be like, you know, get what you can get. If you can swing it, get stuff. You know, I don't know. I always had the philosophy of like whatever army or collection or project is I try and. If the goal is to, if you fixate on one army list, you'll be like constantly trying to find this thing. Whereas if you're just kind of like a collector, you can kind of be happy with like whatever you can procure, and eventually the thing will come back. It's, you know. So, but yeah, it really doesn't take much to screw the whole thing up. It's often the dumbest thing, actually. Like I said, it's like some little ingredient or some cog in the process is slightly delayed, and that's it, and that's why you're not getting your thing that you need.
I would have thought, like, for me, like, I don't know. I think, like, for me, the pandemic kind of, like, my lesson was, like, just to be patient about this sort of stuff, because, like, we all experienced a ton of, like, shortages in different parts of our lives, right, where we couldn't get the thing we wanted or needed or whatever. And, like, but alternatively, like, it had the opposite, you know, effect on some people where, like, they learned that, like, okay, now you need to, like, really jump on something if you want it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So, like, coming out of the pandemic, like, there has been this, like, fear of missing out, FOMO sort of craze thing that I think is kind of wearing off a little bit again. It took a while, but, like, let's be honest, like, there are certain things, especially when we're talking about Games Workshop, the biggest manufacturer of this stuff, there are certain things, like, you kind of have to jump on.
Yep.
If you like want them. Remember, we were saying want. It's like, that's not. It's not need. It's want.
Yeah.
When you want them, you want them, right? And it can be frustrating to miss that first window, like you said, because like some things do go.
Yeah.
You know, like the Empire. Let's say it's going to be January, right? For Old World. Old World. Sound off.
Old World.
There's going to be some things there, like, I don't know, the War Wagon.
Probably.
That's going to sell out in 2 seconds. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's just one of those, like, things that hasn't been around for 1,000 years, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
If you're one of these nostalgic people, and yeah, that could be out of stock for 8 months.
Yeah.
So FOMO's kind of warranted, I guess, in that situation.
It's unfortunate.
But you didn't have a War Wagon for 25 years, you were okay.
Yes.
So
that's true.
You know,
that's true.
It's worth remembering.
Yeah. You might be okay.
Yeah.
You might deal and live with that for a little bit longer. It is tough. It is annoying. It's annoying for us too, because there's like lost opportunities and money that we could make, that we can't make.
Of course. Yeah.
We try and hedge as much as we can, have extras of things we think matter. But I also try and like tell people, you know, there's other options. Like, you know, in the hobby supply world, we have like many redundancies for a lot of these products for that reason. But even with the miniatures, you know, like sometimes people get stuck up on, I really want this thing. You're like, well, I don't know. Maybe this is meant to be. Maybe you should flip into a different. I don't know. It's tough. It's
Well,
tough
how
to
often
find.
does this happen? How often does this happen? Do people miss out on that window? They're really upset, right? And then like it comes back in stock 5 months later, and then they don't want it, right? So
They've already gotten mad and moved on.
yeah,
or
we
just-
noticed
or
this a lot with like the horse heresy. Like
Yeah.
you know, Scorpius tank came out. We only got 2 because this is when they were doing allocations.
Yeah.
They sold immediately, and then we had like 4 customers. They're like, I really wanted a Scorpius tank.
Yeah.
And then
They came back.
5 months later, didn't sell a single one for a while.
They're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I
So-
spent the money somewhere else.
yeah,
Bought a
or
video game
or the want wasn't. It wasn't really like. I don't want to say it wasn't real, but there was like.
A little bit, translucent.
Yeah, it was more like
Yeah.
it was just like kind of like I just wanted to buy something, and this just happened to be that thing this week.
Or I was
whatever,
into
you know?
the thing then, and now
Yeah,
I'm not.
and now I'm not less interested. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know how we started with a strike and ended up here, but that's what a good old garbage time video
This
is.
is
You know,
going
It's-
up on a Monday, so the expectations are super low. I guess we could ask the audience, like, how did they?
There might not even be a strike by Monday.
There might not. No,
This-
the way
this
we
might be old news, dude.
the way we-
But we're good at that.
we're good at old.
We're good at old news.
Yeah. So I guess the great question is how do people deal with these setbacks, and do they just I know one thing that works super well for me if something that I want to do now is delayed is I just look at the enormous pile of unfinished stuff I have and I just grab something off the top and I'll just work on that.
So Jay, there's 2 problems with that. Okay, number 1, that's not very exciting.
It's not.
And number 2, that
was
doesn't help
exciting
us
years
very
ago.
much. Okay?
No, it doesn't help us. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It does not. No, it might make you more mad because that thing you picked up off the top might be old and out of date now, and so it's not. It's those sacrosanct Stormcats.
You had sacrosanct.
No,
guys in a
no, I
pile?
didn't. No, of course, absolutely not. I never had
Oh man,
I never had any. No, no thanks.
you weren't investing in sacrosanct or whatever. You didn't have your crypto sanct or whatever in a pile in the corner, hoping to collect one day. Like what is that, man? Like holy cow.
no.
Who has
No,
6 boxes of sacrosanct just sealed, ready to go? You know, like
just
to get mad. He's just
you're really.
he's trading in futures. He's like, one day I'm gonna get mad about.
We're gonna
this.
get a few of those comments, man. That's coming. You went straight for the gut.
I did.
3 people or whatever.
I gotta do it sometimes. You do it all the time.
I do it a
so
lot.
I gotta take the bullet sometimes.
Firing shots. Yeah. No, I don't know. It's not really. Yeah. Even if it was out of date, I don't know if I would care that much. But yeah.
Well, here's a spicy question: should people boycott Vallejo products right now?
Oof. I don't know.
You're like, all of a sudden you're like, yeah. Did it just get? Who turned the heat on in here?
I don't know. We have a lot of Vallejo here, Chris.
All of a sudden, Jay crosses the picket line.
Yeah.
man.
Look, I don't know. I hope it all works out, and I hope it's just like I don't know.
Here's the thing,
kind of a typical first world labor strike where
Yeah.
they just kind of like, they strike for a bit and then they hit a deal and everyone goes back to work and it's fine. Like hopefully that's the case. Like
Well, there's been a lot of striking. People are starting to figure out like if you make products, it's a good time to strike at end of November.
end of November.
Wow,
Yes.
it's right for the
in
jugular.
holiday
you know,
shopping,
like-
and
Yeah.
for sure, and maybe in some of these countries things may shut down as well anyway, so they're trying to get ahead of it. Because there's a lot of different holiday periods, and
I think coming from our perspective, I think obviously we're a small business and we sell a ton of Vallejo products, right? I think two things. Number one, I think you have to if you want to show solidarity, like listen to what the workers are saying. I don't know if they're calling for a boycott or not. If they are calling for a boycott, one way you can make that work and not hammer your local store for it is like Jay said earlier in the video, we sell a ton of
try
paints.
some make-aids or something.
Buy something else for now, right? Like you can buy something else. You don't have to buy Vallejo, right? But like I said, if they haven't called for that, then you're not really actually helping because sometimes workers don't actually want you to boycott their products
Well, no, they want to go back to
because
work.
they want there to be a business at the end, right?
They don't want to lose their jobs. They just want better things. Yeah.
So
I mean, in the hobby world, it's usually okay. I know there's been some crazy things with different companies. Obviously there was the famous AK one with the Nazi book or whatever they made.
Nazi book. It was a Holocaust diorama.
It was like it was
The
almost,
Nazi
I think
book.
it was like a whole book on painting. It
was like vignettes, and one of them was a Holocaust.
I think the intention was to
it was a
focus on that part of history, but it doesn't market very well. That's for sure. I don't know. I'm not defending them. I don't know what they did.
No, yeah.
It wasn't great, but
it was in very poor taste.
the good thing is I think they've buried that and moved on.
How they though?
I don't know.
Yeah, I still hear people bring it up occasionally.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, that's one of those blunders where like I don't know you ever get past.
You know what? We have Scale 75.
Yeah,
Also great
keep
paint.
pulling Spanish paint companies out of the
We got lots of scale.
Army painter. You want to be a fanatic?
Yeah,
right out of Italy.
Yeah. Suddenly Citadel doesn't seem so bad. Or
No, exactly.
their only crime was the pop top.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, I mean that's don't, people think that might be worse than the Holocaust diorama.
Yeah, probably.
Based on the internet or whatever. Holy cow!
They'll be like, oh, I'm gonna go to AK because I hate the pop top or whatever.
Yeah.
Yikes!
We did it.
We got
through garbage time.
Oh man!
And we're still in one piece, and nobody listens.
We need
to the whole
something
thing.
to happen in the hobby world.
Sound off if you've watched all of our garbage time video.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it for Monday.
It.
People feel like this on a Monday. They're like, I got nothing for this.
I got
week.
nothing.
I got nothing to give.
Lords of War has nothing to give you.
I got nothing. They got nothing.
Got absolutely nothing today. Yeah.
Well, we hope you guys like these videos. If you really like garbage time, check out our Patreon. We got something fun brewing there. Hopefully, coming up soon. We're working on a couple of collaborations. We'll see how that turns into New Year. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe not.
Let's track the numbers. If everyone gets going and tells their friends, maybe we can get to 5,000.
Tells their friends.
Get to 5,000 subs by the end of this month, maybe.
Water cooler talk. That's what we're asking for.
You need to
tell all your colleagues at work that have no interest in miniatures.
Open your YouTube burner accounts and start fudging the numbers or whatever.
Well, actually, what we really need is you need to just have 6 screens all watching the video at the same time.
Right.
That's how we get it. That's how we start printing money here.
Our employee Matt, he told, he made a joke of something, and he's like, no, I only use my burner account, and that, for some reason the concept of a YouTube burner account.
Were you just dying?
I was dying because the idea that you have an anonymous, I can't let them know my main account that it's already a made-up name. I gotta go to Layers Deep to make my crazy comment or whatever.
Oh, so that's all for the comments or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. He's using Brave browser, so he can go in there and just give it to people. All right, guys.
Through his VPN,
Have a good week. Thanks for watching.
Okay, thanks. Bye.